So in this video we'll be covering jumping statements. So what do you mean by jumping statements? As we know that looping statements are used to perform certain sets of tasks repeatedly, but in certain situations a user may want to exit from a loop or skip some elements of the loop before continuing further in the loop. So for this purpose we'll be using jumping statements.
So now we are going to talk about our first jumping statement, that is break statement. So what is the use of break statement? So break statement terminates the current loop, that is the loop in which it appears, and resumes execution at the next statement immediately after the end of the loop. So now look at this flowchart. So in this flowchart, the interpreter will first check for the expression. If it is false, it will directly comes out of the loop, or if it is true, then it will check for any break statement. So if there is any break statement in that particular loop, then it will directly comes out of the loop, or else the remaining body of the loop will be executed, and then the loop continues till the text expression becomes false. So another important point is that if break statement is inside a nested loop, break will terminate the innermost loop. Now look at this example. For I in sequence 1 is the outer loop. This sequence 1 can be any set of numbers. I am just giving this for an example. So for j in sequence 2 is the inner loop. Now there is a break statement inside this inner loop, which means that break will terminate the innermost loop and it will not terminate the outer loop, which means this print hello will be printed because it is a part of the outer loop.
Now look at this example. In this program we iterate through the string Python, and when the letter is H, it will break the loop. So which means in the first iteration I value will be P, and I is not equal to P, so it will not get inside this break statement and it will print the value of I. And in the second iteration the value of I will be Y, so which is not equal to H, so the Y value so the I value will be printed. And in the third iteration I will be T and the value of I will be printed. And in the fourth iteration the value of I will be H, so if I double equal to H evaluates to true, so it's getting inside the if statement, so it's getting inside the if block and it's breaking the loop. So now let us see the output. Yeah, now all the letters get printed till H. As we know that for and else can be combined in a single program, but what will happen if I try to use break statement inside the for loop? Now let me show this with an example. So when we use break statement along with for else statement, the break statement will terminate the old block of for else and will not print this else part. So now let us save this code and run. So when I becomes 3, it comes out of the loop and the else part will also be omitted. So our output is just 1 and 2. So now if I try to print the elements without using break statement, yeah, then this is my code. Now save this and run. So here is the output for your code. So it will print all the elements along with else part.
So here comes our second jumping statement, that is continue statement. So this is the flowchart for continue statement. At first it checks for the test expression. If the test expression is false, it directly comes out of the loop. Or else if the test expression is true, then the body of the loop will be executed. If there is any continue statement inside the body, then the execution of the statement inside the body of the loop for the current iteration will be skipped and the control jumps to the beginning of the loop for the next iteration. If there is no continue statement, then the remaining body of the loop will be executed.
So this code is almost same as our previous problem. The only thing is that the break keyword is replaced by continue keyword. So we continue with the loop if the string is I. not executing the rest of the block. Hence we see in our output that all the letters are printed except I. Yeah, this is the output. So in this problem, when the value of this particular variable val is I, then the control flows to the next iteration value and thus skipping the rest of the statements. To talk about our third jump statement, that is pass statement. It is used when a statement is required dynamically but you do not want any command or code to execute. The pass statement is a null operator, which means it just passes that particular loop and it will not do any kind of operations over there. So nothing happens when it executes. The pass is also useful in places where your code will eventually go but has not been written yet. However, nothing happens when pass is executed. It results in no operation. Let me show this with an example. Try to execute this. There is no output for this particular program because we are just passing through that particular loop and it's not doing any operation over there. When we use pass statement, we are not getting any output. So what's the use of this pass statement? Suppose we have a loop or a function that is not implemented yet, but we want to implement it in the future. So at that time, we cannot have an empty body because the interpreter will pop up some traceback error. So we use the pass statement to construct a body that does nothing so that you can manipulate your code in the future. So with this we have come to the end of chapter 3. So from the next video I will be discussing about strings.